Folks, thanks for coming on the line with us today. My name's John Dubas with Premier Marketing, and we'll be spending the next hour or so discussing quoting tools that will help you sell insurance, plain and simple. In a time of social distancing, these are invaluable tools that we can use to help the population we serve, and of course, to drive income to our agencies as well. A bit of administrative housekeeping. Today's presentation is being recorded, and it, along with reference material that we will allude to through the course of the presentation, will be sent to all who RSVP'd to this presentation, and it'll include a link to the recording as well. If you have questions through the course of the presentation, please keep in mind that they may be answered later in the presentation. So if I don't respond to them immediately, that may be the root cause, or the cause may be I don't know the answer to the question, and we'll do some research and make certain that you receive that information that you are requesting. A bit of background about our organization. We are a national marketing organization founded in 1968. We're part of the Integrity Marketing Platform with offices across the country. We serve as an insurance wholesaler, providing insurance services through independent insurance agents such as yourself, and we contract with you at the highest possible commission levels and have recruiting contracts available to those who qualify. As I mentioned, we were founded in 1968. So that means recently we achieved a milestone in our history, our 50th anniversary, which is quite an accomplishment, we feel, for what started as a small family agency in rural Nebraska that's grown into one of the largest marketing organizations of its type in the country. We do so through a full portfolio of insurance programs that include the Medicare health programs such as Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, and standalone Part D programs, a full portfolio of life insurance and annuity programs, including final expense and pre-need plans, long and short-term care programs, disability income plans, and ancillary products that include dental, vision, and hearing programs, critical illness and cancer plans, and hospital indemnity programs. That Medicare Advantage portfolio includes all the national carriers and a number of the regional carriers that help you be successful in your market. And that same philosophy carries over to our PDP portfolio, where the national brands are there for your use through our organization. Our Medicare Supplement portfolio is very robust and includes a number of support programs that can help you be successful in that space as well. Those ancillary products, well, in each of the categories, the named carriers are there, the leaders in each of those divisions, and these are important programs that help us augment the base programs that we offer in the health arena. It's also a key component of cross-selling, and it's one of the tools that's used is a cross-selling tool that will help you sell ancillary products right alongside your base medical coverage, whatever that might be. As we look at the Medicare arena, obviously it's a robust market with a language all of its own. So if you're interested in an acronym translator, we've got a couple for you that we'll be happy to send you. It comes separate from the follow-up simply because they are very large programs and won't make it through the servers, ours or yours. When you look at the number of people on Medicare, well, if you go off of the folks that are turning 65 or older, it's nearly exponential in the growth. That silver tsunami, that 10,000 people a day, one every 10 seconds. Well, it's not a true indicator if you're going just off of age, because some of the folks will turn 65 and not access their Medicare benefits immediately. And you're like, okay, John, now you're telling me it's not such a big deal. Well, that's a lot of people regardless, but keep in mind, nearly one-sixth of the Medicare population is actually under the age of 65, accessing their benefits through disability, and they have need of our services already, because the Medicare population as a whole has some challenges with their bodies, 3+ chronic conditions, 2/3 of the population. And half the population has some challenges with their wallet and the bank account as well, because the earnings and the savings are not where most of those folks would like to be. So, having choices, we need to look at systems that will help people regardless of what they choose. The first decision is a decision to make a decision, as an old sales manager of mine used to say. When someone comes of Medicare age, they can decline Part B or defer it based on their circumstances, and so that's their first decision. If they did that, obviously they're probably not a good prospect for us either. Most folks will pick up the Part B when they're first eligible, and they'll look at additional coverage if they don't want to self-insure for everything else. Many of those folks pick up a standalone Part B program, and that's it. So we need a system that will look at programs that are offering just drug coverage, the standalone Part B programs. And there are folks that will look at standardized, modernized Medigap, Medicare Supplement coverage. So we need programs that will look at that. And a lot of folks also look at Medicare Advantage, also known as Part C, where a private insurance company becomes the overseer of sorts for their Medicare benefits. So we need programs that will look at that. Be nice to have them all in one big bundle. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. We know how nice would be. Because when you look at the choices, when people are coming on Medicare, as they're initially eligible for both coverages, keep in mind, they didn't say as they age in. So you have the late to Medicare seniors who are picking up full coverage after they turn 65 as well. It's pretty much an even split. And then you got a portion that's staying with original Medicare only. It's important to note that this population, that doesn't mean that's all the coverage they have. They may have retiree coverage. They may have veterans coverage. They may have coverage from wherever it happens to be because of Medicaid or for whatever other reason. So they don't select one of the other choices. So we need to be versatile as to what we can offer and realize that we need some guidance as to when we can do it, because they have the standardized election periods. And then, of course, if he doesn't go backwards, you have the SEP programs or the SEP chart that tells you the special election periods that many of these folks are eligible for. This doesn't include the SEP for the nasty weather that was encountered by a big part of the country. It doesn't include the SEP for the COVID-19 virus either. So there are different things we need to keep in play here as to what we can do with folks. But if you look at the Medicare population as a whole, probably at least 3/4 of it qualifies for a SEP one way or another at one time in their Medicare career, so to speak. And so we need to be mindful of the opportunities we have to help them throughout the course of the year. So when we look at these tools themselves, it's important to keep an open mind, because one of the things that our current social distancing is doing for us and to us is opening our eyes to possibilities of still touching folks without touching folks. So let's look at some of those. We've got to do some things that will help regardless of when this passes. You know, that's what the mother said to the child that swallowed the marble, this too shall pass. What are we going to do with our time? We got to spend it as judiciously as possible. And in many circumstances, that is aided by electronic means. This is one of the tools that is available to our contracted agents. It's a system we use through CSG, and it gives us a multitude of different programs that are available for you. It's a way to garner Medicare Supplement quotes. That quote also tells you what the most price competitive Medicare supplements are in your chosen market, and most certainly in the zip code in which your prospect lies. And so that gives you an idea of how you can actually access a Medicare supplement review for your prospects and clients. which can be done over the telephone very simply. And if they're a prospect or if they're a client that's discovered that it may be time to change their Medicare supplement coverage, it has an electronic app function as well. The e-apps. It also contains information for you on Medicare Advantage and PDP programs. Since it is not a system where you would actually send a bunch of that data out, there's another system we're going to review that says that we want to stay compliant. It does give you an opportunity to cross-sell with other programs that are listed here to fill the gaps in Medicare Advantage coverage. For those of you who work in a market that is more penetrated by Medicare Advantage than some of the others and has a clear leader in that field that's really hard to unseat, they have great network, they got good benefits, they've got yada, yada, yada. Other programs that you offer can't displace that program. Well, you can then take that program and fill in the gaps with a hospital indemnity program, cross-selling it through this system, sending the quote electronically as you can with the Medicare Supplement program and the other ones. But it gives you an opportunity then to fill in that hospital copay with a hospital indemnity program and collect an application electronically and compliantly. The final expense program here in this quote engine is the one thing that you can't discuss with the Medicare Advantage program, because it is a non-health benefit, and so that requires a 48-hour cooling off program, but that doesn't apply with Medicare supplements. Remember, different guidelines that come into play. There's also ways then to add on the dental programs, and one of the ways that you can prep this discussion is by using regulation. That darn scope of appointment. I would urge all of you to look at a scope of appointment as your buddy, as your pal, as your best friend, because it lists other products on there besides Medicare Advantage or PDP programs. And by setting your prospect and client up for a full discussion, it gives you a path to discuss other programs in a singular appointment. It also gives you an opportunity to retrieve that and store it right here for that 10-year period that you're required to do by regulation if you sell them or not. Keep that in mind. For many folks who may not be as conscientious in collecting those scopes of appointment or keeping them for that 10-year period, either if they sold them or not, keep in mind if you don't sell them, boy, going back to those scopes in the future is a great way to really clean up and prospect with half the effort and twice the result. So it gives you an opportunity of going in there and looking at some of the different pieces that come into play. The applications are very simple. In most cases, it's done internally. There are certain carriers that require it to be sent to their site, but it gives you then a simple roadmap to do so, as opposed to going to each and every one of the carriers that may offer an e-app and taking advantage of that situation. We have recordings specifically on the e-app process. We have recordings specifically on the cross-selling technique that I mentioned, and we also have a recording as well on the e-scope. So those are links that are going to come to you as part of the presentation follow-up. We're not going through them all today. Some of you may be disappointed, some of you may be silently applauding, but this would be a very long presentation if we went through each of them in the detail that they merit. This is taken plain and simple from our website. It gives you an opportunity to look at that electronic scope, store it, and enroll them in the MedSup plans. It's a great way, as I mentioned, to prompt discussion for multiple carrier products. This also is an indication of the fact that we still have old dependable out there to help us gather information about the different programs. This is not a smooth process necessarily, and there's no way that you could actually use it as a sales tool because it wasn't intended to in a single motion. I know there are many of you out there that are probably very proficient at using this system from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and it is a good way of determining what all is in your market when it comes to Medicare Advantage and prescription drug programs. There's an admitted shortfall when it comes to Medicare Supplements, something to consider. We have, of course, the trainings that were put on by CMS as well. There is also a website that I will list in the follow-up that will take you to recordings of and the presentations for this at the National Training Program offered by CMS. Anyone can get into it. Anyone can pull down the PowerPoints. I've done it already, so if you want them, I will send them to you upon request. But what's going to come to you automatically as part of the follow-up to today's presentation is a recording on how to work the Plan Finder. Many of you are probably very proficient at it. There may be some of you not as much. Let's use it if you choose to. One of the challenges we have with it is it didn't allow us to import old drug lists, so the year-over-year challenges with using the system, or the year-over-year use of the system, was challenged this past year. And, well, they changed vendors as to who is powering that system. Spent over $11 million on it. Had some froggies in it, most assuredly. It's getting better, but old data's gone. We'll put it that way. So even if it hadn't improved, it's not a true sales tool. We need to make certain that we can have things available to us to cover the sales functions and all the plan options. So we're going to look for a plan that's easy to access and use. We want to make certain that it satisfies all the compliance requirements. We want to compare the available coverage to us. We want to make certain that it imports all the changing parameters. So the formularies, as they're updated, are automatically updated in the system. Changes of that between tiers that are requirements of the PBMs to be reported to the systems. And we want to make certain that it would allow the beneficiary to do research on their own. Studies have shown that the younger portion of the Medicare population, 64, 65, 66, 67, and now into 68 maybe, they want to do some research before they talk to anybody. They want to kind of winnow down the results, and they want then to have someone that they can have answer questions. For those of us that have called 1-800-Medicare, you realize that during AEP, the vast number of those calls are sent out to contracted individuals with FAQ lists, not really employees of CMS either, and they don't know the answers. You do. If you don't, you know where to get the answers. So that's necessary to make certain that we satisfy that requirement. We also want it to store the information that we're inputting. Our prospects and clients really want to see their personal data in there, and that makes a difference to them for them to identify with that quote and makes the sale much more probable as part of the process. And we, of course, want to be able to enroll them electronically and save the time and effort that a multiple close sale may cause. Because we all know that there are some folks who aren't going to buy on the first appointment, no matter how good you are. And I know there are folks out there that says, well, that means I missed something. Maybe. Did you miss the spouse? Did you miss a different decision maker? Maybe your presentation was flawless and not everybody was there. So making that information available to folks electronically can really help you. Because when folks look at some of the shopping trends that are going on, we're seeing a much more savvy electronic prospect than what we've seen in the past. And they still want our help in discovering the differences. They want to see doctors' names. They want to input their drugs, and they want to view information about their general health. Because, well, if they're healthier, obviously the claims are going to be lower. How's that going to affect your overall out-of-pocket in their mind's eye? Because they don't look just at the premium anymore. They look at a variety of factors that can make a difference to them as to what the true probable best plan for them is. And for those of you that have worked in retail situations before, and I'm not talking selling shoes at Lord & Taylor or Macy's or whatever shop it used to be, we're talking about sitting in a Walmart or a different pharmacy, visiting with folks, and they just want the plan with the cheapest premium, not realizing that that may well not be the cheapest plan in the long run or even the short run. So let's make certain that we're able to ask and receive specific drug cost information, store it so we can look at it year over year to do reviews, and make certain that that's factored into what would be the best plan for them out of pocket. See, engagement's way up when you enter drugs into a system and it's able to utilize that system and store it and sort the information for you. And remember, folks trust you more than they do Medicare. I mentioned that 1-800-Medicare number. Well, they need to talk to you because you know what you're talking about. You've got experience. You have people just like them that you visit with all the time. Be mindful of your abilities and the fact that, well, if I don't know all the answers, I'll get you the answer. And that makes a huge difference in that relationship. Plus, systems, if we look at it, will help us retain our current membership as well, prevent switching, and helps us to communicate some drug choices. You're not a pharmacist or a doctor, nor do you play one on TV, but having the information about, well, gee, is that the cheapest drug that will do that? Well, you got to talk to your doc about this. But if we look at the drug categories, here's some alternatives. Speak with your physician about that, and let's see what we can do. Because remember, part of what we do during the annual review process is go from a position of strength when they're already our clients. So we have that information for them. We're able to go back with them. Or if someone is looking to switch, they call you dissatisfied, you can say, well, let's pull up your information and let's see what else may be available, or if we can deal with some of this dissatisfaction. That takes us into our MedicareCenter product. This is a program that we've had recent multiple webinars on that speak to you about the operation of the program. So guess what? Yep, you're going to get a link to one of those as well. Because if I did a MedicareCenter only webinar in detail, the way I like to talk, it'd be over an hour. So you're going to get a link with Justin B's presentation for MedicareCenter, and it'll give you the nuts and bolts of that system. But some of the things it does is that, well, it helps us streamline those sales for those folks who don't want to meet face-to-face. When I first started doing Medicare Advantage presentations in the mid-90s, you try to sell somebody over the phone, they think you were a snake oil salesman. And we didn't have the systems back then to do it anyway. There are some folks, however, that didn't want to meet in their home. Well, can you meet me for a cup of coffee? Can I come to a meeting? Whatever. You can deal with those folks electronically now and also deal with the folks that you met and they put off and put off and put off a decision or a meeting date, those procrastinators, so you can deal with them in a timely and efficient process as well. And then, of course, there are always times where Mother Nature doesn't always agree with your schedule. Floods, ice storms, snowstorms, whatever it happens to be, this gives you the opportunity of still reaching out and taking care of folks on a timely basis. You also have the folks that, well, on a particular day, they both want to see you that day, and that's the only day only, and they live quite a distance apart. Well, you can minimize the windshield time and cut that mileage significantly by doing a program electronically. So MedicareCenter streamlines the sales. It gives you the capability of comparing multiple plans side by side compliantly after, of course, you procure an electronic scope of appointment and store it for that 10-year period within the system. It contains both Medicare Advantage and prescription drug plans. Some med sups, it's not quite there yet to be the all-in-roll, and that's why I hedged my bet at the first part of this presentation. It gives you, however, an electronic comparison you can send to your clients quickly and compliantly by email. It enables that collection of those scopes and storage. It drives up the persistency because you're able to use the system with the data you're storing. Remember, it doesn't go away. It's in there, your system. You're the only one that can see it. It's not like we're some kind of divine overlord that's going to go in there and snoop on your prospects and your clients. It's for you, stored for you, and it gives you then the opportunity to not only keep your book of business with those year-over-year reviews, but also enlarge your prospect pool by revisiting prospects that you had in that system who didn't buy from you. As long as you keep an active permission to contact, you can reach out to them on a regular basis, including their annual election period, or if they're suddenly eligible for a special election period, and re-review their process then. And it gives you then also a database, a CRM of sorts, to help with part of a cross-selling process. It has different components within it. It gives you the plan compare function, which gives the customer the right to select their best it's a fit plan based on personalized total cost of ownership estimates. It gives you the opportunity to act as a enroller of sorts by using the offline enrollments via mobile devices such as tablets, reduce paper applications. And let's face it, there aren't a heck of a lot of carriers out there that want paper applications. They'll take them. They want your business, but they sure would rather have them when it comes electronically as opposed to paper. And think about it. If you've taken any notes during this presentation, I doubt you have, but look at your desk and look at your handwriting. I am looking at a notebook next to my computer, and it appears that a chicken stepped in a whole bunch of ink and did a little scratching on some paper here. When I was with Evercare years ago, tell you how long, but at one point in time, 80% of our applications that came in for those special needs plans, 80% of them were pended because we couldn't read the agent's handwriting. That's you, that's me. Do it electronically. It'll process faster. You're not able to submit it without it being complete, so you don't have to deal with any follow-up questions. They get their coverage quicker. You get paid faster as well. Plus, it also gives you the opportunity to make use of a PURL, a broker-specific URL that basically you can send people to. They can shop with the carriers you contract with, select one, enroll themselves. You receive a notification that they've done so, and you may not have even spoken with them more than once when you sent out information. They may have done it all on their own through that system. It gives you an opportunity to compare medications. As I mentioned before, it's formulary accurate. It receives all the updates on the formularies as they come available. It makes certain that you're able to look up the pharmacies as well, because keep in mind, you're seeing more and more of these plans that have preferred pharmacies. Sell a Walmart plan and a Walgreens, and I don't go over too well. And you see many of these large pharmacies hooking up with carriers for named plans within that carrier's portfolio. So it's important we have that function and that we can find those preferred pharmacies as well. Not only those, but who all is available as part of that network. Because remember, that's a network as well. It also enables you to search for providers within the tool. A great asset that's not available on Plan Finder, by the way, the CMS tool. It gives you then also all the data that's necessary to preload the program. And if necessary, as you discuss it and the folks say, well, you know, just send me an app. I'm comfortable. We've done all we needed to do. You sent all the information to me to keep you in compliance. Just send me an app, and you have a short enrollment form that you can send as well. So it gives you a multitude of tools that you can use to make what can be a fairly long process much shorter, much cleaner, and store it for you compliantly where you can still access it year over year. So 3 ways to enroll: face-to-face, enrolling online with a computer or a tablet, telephonically where you're sending the information ahead of time, conducting the consultation, and sending an application link for them to complete online. They just click it, and it DocuSigns it, and it creates that mini website for you as well, where you can send them there, and you have a presence on the World Wide Web. You can publicize that in any type of other communication you send out for any other type of insurance that you're selling. You're a life insurance agent? Wonderful. Put the tagline on it with a link. You're a property and casualty agent? Wonderful. Kick it out there. Add that link. Oh, you are a Medicare agent? You most certainly are going to kick it out with that link. So you're going to look at a 4-pronged reason why you want to use it. It's going to help the customer be very comfortable with the experience. They're able to personally shop, guide them to the most appropriate plan. It helps you be a prescription expert without having the degree and without prescribing, of course. But in many circumstances, the cost of medications or a Medicare beneficiary's number one concern. You guys watch any off-brand TV, you'll see the Good RX guy come on there and tell them, well, we're concerned about COVID ID as well, COVID-19 as well, and we want to make certain that if you've lost your job, we can help you maintain costs and still get coverage. You know, a discount on their medications, true. But that's a great hook for a lot of folks. And I don't mean to sound callous, but medication's a big deal. I know it is to me. Getting efficient, well, you're going to be able then to multiply close on folks that may just they don't possess the ability to make that decision. And it may nudge people in the decision much more quickly because they're able to review the information at their own leisure. And you don't have to lug around a whole heck of a lot of paper, and they don't have to deal with a whole lot of paper, and you're more secure in that because it's all done electronically. You're not going to get hacked. It's a secure system. And it's a great way for you to grow those renewals because you can do those reviews constantly if you need to, and at least once a year, as you well should, and make certain that those folks think, man, this guy's got a memory. Boy, this gal, she remembers me well. You know, so it's going to build relationships and give you that opportunity to create that foundation for multiple sales. And it costs you a nice round zero. But what if you're a Med Supp agent? I missed a finger quotes working there too, didn't I? Well, there are switchers in both parts of the world. Medicare Advantage plans got switchers. Med Supp folks have switchers too. Not a huge percentage, but you will see that depending upon what's going on in the market now, you might see more switchers next year. There are some proposed changes with the proposed fees that was announced yesterday for Medicare Advantage carriers, and the relaxation on non-medical benefits, there are folks that are looking for different types of thing that it's their hot button. And that might well be an opportunity for changes in their coverage if you've used our MedicareCenter to store that data. And those folks that didn't change, well, you can walk through what's important to them again. You got all the detail in there, and basically a call list without reprospecting as well. So some of the things that are available for carriers that may or may not be available in each of those systems, there are some carriers that are doing a bang-up job of electronic enrollment now. And if you've seen your email, and I'm sure you have 90 million of them each day, it seems like. Gee, John, you send a whole bunch of them too. So hush your mouth. I will on that. Keep in mind that there are many of them that are relaxing some of the standards that make it easier for you to do telephonic and electronic applications. And they have systems out now that, depending upon the carrier that you are contracted with or wish to contract with, some of these, they make it really easy for you. I got to tell you, you still have all the rules you got to follow. You still got to be compliant in the Medicare space, and a little more lax in some of that in the Medicare sub space. But remember, you're looking at this from, I want to gather in all the sheep I can into my flock, so to speak, and play it safe. Follow the rules and then go where the prospect takes you. And that might be into United Healthcare's portfolio of AARP products for Med Sups, or their Medicare Advantage products, the majority of them that carry that label as well. But their lean program is very strong, and they have done some nice things with it to even help with AARP Medicare Supplement applications. And I know that's causing a few of you to have your eyes roll back in your head, but keep in mind, you need that product in your back pocket if for nothing else, certain members of the Medicare population that you run across that have health circumstances that can get through their underwriting questions that you can't get with any other med sup carrier, and of course, an opportunity to approach people in different age aspects that they are competitive in. And I got to tell you, in certain states, in certain areas I call blue hair heaven, they are competitive. You go into Florida and California, they pop to the top in many circumstances when it comes to premium. I'll be curious to see what happens now that some of those areas are receiving more marketing pressure from other Medicare supplement plans, but that lean program, it's pretty good. You have a ton of electronic aids they make available for you. So I'm not going to send you a bunch of links on these. I'm going to send you to their Jarvis site and say, hey, how do I do their scope of appointment? I'd tell you what, if it's me, I'd use one of the other two systems we offered, so you stay generic with it. They'll accept that scope, but it gives you then ideas on how to collect that voice signature if you're talking about a med sup, or a remote signature if you're talking about MA PDP programs. One of the things that I would strongly recommend anybody in the Medicare Advantage space to take advantage of is this health assessment survey, a electronic function that is done in most circumstances with these carriers only if you use their electronic app. So United does it, Centene does it, Aetna does it, Anthem does it, Humana does it. There are probably others I'm neglecting to say, but if you don't take advantage of this opportunity and you're making a sale with that carrier anyway electronically, you're throwing away $50. Every time you do that, send me $25. We'll split that. I'll take the good part. You take the $75 loss then. Well, seriously, use this. It's a great way to gain additional income from the programs. And keep in mind, your standard supplement, or pardon me, your standard Medicare Advantage The commission rates, they're set by CMS. You see that COLA each and every year so far, around 3%, 3 to 5% each year. But this is a great way to get additional funds through a Medicare Advantage sale. It works in their systems. They have great systems to use when it comes to marketing. You've got an awesome program with Aetna in their Quote and Enroll system. This is an example of using it on Medicare Supplement plans, because using this system, it not only pulls up the quote, it also gives you the opportunity to add on ancillary products in that same electronic application. So you can put in dental, vision, hearing. You can put in a cancer, heart attack, stroke program. You can put in a hospital indemnity program. You can tell my light bulb flickered there for a minute, didn't you? You can see then, it's a great way then to make certain that you are prompted into a discussion of additional products as well. A really hard sell process on it, when you've completed a Medicare Supplement application with Aetna and that hot new Med Sup they've got, the Ascendo program, it's like, oh, by the way, who do you have your cancer protection with? You don't have it? Well, look at this. Oh, by the way, who's your dentist? You don't have a dentist? Oh, you do? Oh, how are you covering those costs? There's some simple little questions. It's the old Columbo close. You remember that old TV series? He heads to the door, he pauses, he turns at the door, and he says, no, by the way, one more question. It's a great way to do it. They have their health assessment in certain states on their Ascend app. Their Ascend app is pretty easy to work. It's that $50 per enrollment on this system too. So particularly during AEP, it's a good way to get paid on that. If you're selling an app in November, and you got to wait until after the 1st of January to get paid on the actual medical coverage, they pay you on the assessment beforehand. So we've got a ton of these that are available in different parts of the insurance world. And I don't mean to brush off all the other carriers. I've got another compilation of another PowerPoint, God bless us, that we're putting together to have electronic tools for each and every carrier we offer. Do I have that yet? Well, I think I do one day, and then, oops, there's an email that says they've changed the system. So if that's still of interest to you, I'm going to make certain by the end of the week I have it updated as much as possible in the Medicare and ancillary space, and ask my friends in the other departments to come up with information as well for theirs. That might be a better choice, to have just different departments send it to you so you don't have a 900-page piece for you. But I want to make you aware of the fact that it's not only the Medicare and ancillary world that has these electronic functions. Final Expense has a ton of these programs that make it really simple for you to reach out and enroll somebody telephonically. Once again, you watch any late night TV, if it's not a Medicare Advantage advertisement, it's something for Final Expense. And they are offering to do it electronically, telephonically. You've got systems that will work in long-term and short-term care as well, with annuities and traditional life. So let's look at some of those possibilities as you encounter them as a Medicare agent, or if you're in that field, let's make certain that you're aware of the possibilities you have in your focus market. Some of the things we're going to also do to help make this easier for you, because as you go into the world and you see all these electronic tools, and hey, all of a sudden, asparagus isn't so bad. Oh, that's a good pork chop. I'm going to try that. That's a little different world. So we're going to make certain that you take it a bite at a time. And as an independent insurance agent, you want to make certain that you're doing this as well and protecting yourself with E&O coverage. This discounted E&O is available to any of our contracted agents, but it will protect them with the other product they have, shame on you, with other upline marketing carriers as well. Oh, we realize you're an independent insurance agent and you need to do what you need to do. But don't just put one program on a blanket E&O policy and think you're protected. It's not going to cover you for everything. Take advantage of this system and make certain that you're covered. We also protect your insurance license by making certain that your mandated continuing education is discounted for you as well. We do so through our relationship with WebCE, and we can help you build your own benefit package as well through a modified issue, non-cancelable DI program where you share in the commissions and you get it at a discount anyway. This program, as I mentioned at the top of it, which seems so very long ago now, my apologies, it's recorded, as are many of the other programs that will help get you in front of people to sell them electronically, should you need to. Keep in mind, we're not all going to be trapped in social isolation, in a manner of speaking, forever. And we have different programs that can help you be active in the market regardless. We also want to make certain that you are aware of all the compensation that you can receive by marketing these programs, and you have them all in one spot. And keep in mind, Medicare Advantage and PDP programs don't qualify for trips or incentives because that would be a violation of that standardized compensation that I spoke of earlier, set up by CMS. But the other programs do help you also qualify for Premier's Producers Convention, including the recently canceled one for this year, which was a cruise from Miami to the Bahamas. Now, only COVID-19 could do this because from what I understand, these cruises are a lot of fun. I don't travel internationally anymore, but this is one of the things that is a great benefit for those who enjoy worshiping the sun. There is also some of the things that we can make available to you because certain carriers allow and certain products allow for cold calling. We can help you with contact list ordered for you at a discounted rate or a deeply discounted rate for free, depending upon your contracting situation. And as things thaw, in a manner of speaking, specialized programs to help you market into the community, including those centers of influence such as faith-based and organizations and providers that deliver the care of the programs we offer. But retail marketing is also a key component in many agents' marketing plan year over year. Believe it or not, you got a webinar coming up next month on Walmart. There are also certain carriers that will help you with prospects as well. Many of the MA carriers will do this. Sometimes those are what I used to call Lazarus leads, where a captive beat it on the head once or twice, declared it dead, and they expect you to resurrect it. But it may be simply because that captive didn't call them at the right time. I know that because I was a captive a long time ago, and I saw what happened with others and probably with myself from time to time as well. We do also have internet lead programs, Facebook programs, Facebook lead programs that can help you, and direct mail support based on production that deeply discounts the cost of a mailing and helps you use that tried and true system on a regular basis. Because keep in mind, any marketing program you put into place, it's like an exercise program. You do it once, pardon me, you do it once and it causes you pain in most circumstances. You do it consistently, you see results. And I am hoping that the audio has been recovered, Dale. My apologies. I had a call come in. I am remoting in, so I'm yelling at my cell phone. My apologies. All this said and done, we want to make certain that these systems are part of how you do business. And we want you to do business not only electronically, but with us, and we want to earn your business. So if a portion of this program had a certain appeal to you, or if you want to go into greater detail as to a specific system, tell us about it. Let's make it part of your personal marketing program and move forward with it. Let's be prepared to use the systems that come into play and make it a part of our overall marketing system. I'm going to peek at some questions here. Can you print out a signed scope on both systems? Yes, Rebecca. I don't know what 18 plus 17 means. I must have had some bad math there for a moment. And there's a couple folks with some sound challenges. I apologize. You can reach any of us here at Premier, 1-800-365-8208, or through the website at premiersmi.com. We'll send out the follow-up to today's presentation, including a link to it with good sound, and look to speak with you in the very near future. All that said and done, we realize the investment of your time is a grand investment, and we thank you sincerely for it. We look forward to further discussions, and in the meantime, we wish you good selling. Thanks so very much, and we'll talk to you very, very soon.